there is no more time to be running away and avoiding the truth of who we are. And the reason why we have felt like everything that's going on in the world is too much is because we are avoiding what's wanting to come through us. And that very avoidance is becoming destructive to us because it's clogging up our channels as divine beings of light. And we forget the essence and the truth of who we are and why we came here in all the past lifetimes. And so this is my next step in stepping in the truth of who I am from my heart, from my center, from a place of peace. What I have been sitting with in meditation and ceremony is this idea that for many years I've been putting myself in boxes of different identities. At first it was my wellness blogging persona, Breakfast Criminals. Then it was At Home with Ksenia, which is this mindfulness home person. Then it was my podcast that's all about expanded consciousness and entrepreneurship. And then I renamed my podcast to Funded by Source, and it was guided by Source, and it felt so exciting and expansive, but it also felt like I just was so done with Woke and Wired. It no longer stood for what it did when I started it years ago. And part of it was just running away from that, and I needed to change. And then Funded by Source came in, and the ironic thing is that when I changed the name, I started making less money. And isn't that ironic? I was holding conversations about cultivating the kind of trust that guides us in our everyday actions, guides us as entrepreneurs, and the kind of trust that leads us to being provided for by Source in every way, financially not. And yes, I was provided for in many ways, financially, minimally, not so much, not to the extent that I would like to or am used to. It was revealed to me this past week that it's time to shift. Funded by Source came in as a teacher. The lesson has been integrated, not like I'm funded by Source fully and I know how to live that way, but I'm walking there. And what I realized is that calling my podcast Funded by Source is just another box of having more limited conversations and constantly trying to drive them to the place of, okay, there's this creativity and spirituality, but how do you actually make money? And I think there's a way to have that conversation in a more open-ended context, in a more creative context that is not bound by the constructs of this paradigm that is melting away, burning away, and honestly ready to be moved out of the new earth, because that's where we're building. And we're building it starting in our own hearts, with our intentions, with our thoughts, with how we show up in every moment, with how we interact with ourselves and with others. And it's time to go. It's time to be the full expression of you, because you didn't come here to be less than that. We're at the top. We made it. The way that I feel it and the way that I see it in this dimension and different dimensions, it's not about standing against something or fighting against something. It's not even standing for something, but it's about who you are, who you be. What is your I am? What frequency do you embody in every moment, moment by moment? Doing things out of fear of looking a certain way, out of guilt of disappointing someone, doing something outside of fear of causing pain or disappointing someone, or doing the wrong thing or being canceled is so old. And the more you, as a powerful being, as a healer, as a creator, as a beautiful human, the more you allow yourself to be consumed by those lower frequencies, the more you forget how powerful you are, and that every thought and every word creates your world. And I've experienced that over and over and over again in every dimension that I've traveled to recently. And it may seem so simple. You know, they say, oh, just practice gratitude, just meditate, just be in silence and be kind. But really, those aren't the only things that matter. Because when we forget who we are, which happens all the time as humans, it's in and out, those emotions, those high frequency emotions, they're direct pathways to Source. They're direct pathways to the soul of who you are. So I don't know if I will be guided from here on. I know what the next one step is, and I have no idea what the steps after that are. I just know that this moment, this new beginning, this new self-expression, this new container feels so damn good. And with it also releasing all of the years of work and external validation that came with it, I really noticed and became aware of the fact that I allowed my reputation, my name, my identity, my brand become the thing that people perceive when I walk into the room, virtual or physical. I was enjoying people recognizing me at Whole Foods. I was enjoying people knowing that I've been in all these publications and was nominated for awards, and I kept saying it over and over again, even in my podcast intro. And I think in the new reality, it really doesn't matter. It's who I am in the moment and how true can I be to my nature. And that's where it gets interesting and really fun, because it's different for all of us. There's no formula, there's no roadmap. It's completely different for each one of us. And the more we trust our soul's knowing that our soul is the only soul that knows you, your soul is the only soul that knows you, and trust your sovereignty and trust that any judgment or misalignment from the outside, it's not yours to deal with. If it's coming from within, if you're judging someone, then for sure, I've been noticing a lot of that in myself. And as I move into creating from this place of oneness instead of duality, I've also been noticing an increased capacity in perceiving others in the multidimensionality of who they are. The things that I used to judge in people, I now am able to appreciate. And I can see exactly why I was so triggered by people who are so self-expressed, because I wasn't. I was really shoving down the creator part of me into the cosmic creator, the multidimensional being creator, not a social media creator. I was shoving it into different identities and checking boxes. So, done with that. Next chapter. Let's move on. I was noticing just how much of even my podcast, my podcast is my happy place. It's where I connect so deeply with so many of you, and I'm able to have conversations with such beautiful beings on such unique paths. And I realized that there was so much frustration starting to build because I wasn't getting as many downloads as I think I should after, being so aligned with source, and I'm not getting this downloads or these reviews. And instead of seeing that the downloads that I do have, the 10,000 downloads a month, 10,000 chances to inspire someone, 10,000 chances to go deep with someone. When you consume someone's content, think about it. As a human, you can only connect with probably a few people in a day. And how special is it when someone chooses to connect with your content? Because even if the person who's putting out the content will never know, that connection is there, and we're co-creating. And the age of the lone wolf is so done. We're co-creating this new earth together. And so I'm releasing those pieces of validation of the external metrics of success, even if they were for the good reason, quotation marks, to reach more people and to impact more people and actually do something good. Behind all these good reasons, I discovered all these shadow aspects of myself that wanted that validation. So that's why getting to the bottom of your why on anything is so powerful, because when you do it, you're able to create space to really be with what drives your actions. And what drives your actions, it puts frequencies all over what you put out there in the world. And when I talk about it, I mean the frequencies that you emit with your thoughts and with your energy, with your choices, with your intentions, with your why, that exists in the field all around you, whether you have a podcast, whether you have social media presence or not. I don't know who that is. But through your being, you're putting out those frequencies. So what would it mean to be a conscious creator? Because creating in your earth starts within. It starts with stopping denying our truth, stopping denying our true nature, remembering how unique and different we are, and that truth is different for all of us, loving each other through different opinions, through polarity, and finding ways to coexist with all of the different unique ways that we express ourselves, beyond the politics, beyond the health choices, and pointing fingers at your own shadow before you point fingers at others. Man, I've been doing that, and it's not fun, but it's freaking necessary. What's interesting is that this week, a limited edition collection with Asha Patel came out. It's called Collective Rising, of course. I didn't know when it would come out, but it came out synchronistically this week, and this necklace was inspired by me, and it's got 4 different crystals, and it's named Ascend. Asha named it Ascend, and the message that I shared for it has to do with trusting the whispers and trusting that we're always guided if only we create the space to hear the whispers. So what a perfectly divinely timed reminder to myself, because I'm in a place where I'm scared to let go of all these things I've been building for so long, because I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know if I'll be funded by source, but it feels damn alive, and that's what I'm going to follow. So my inquiry with this update, and by the way, this is not a brand update, this is not a rebrand, this is me stepping into who I was born to be in this moment, because it might change the next moment, and I'm open to that. One of the funny things that I saw is, with releasing Funded by Source, I've created this beautiful website, this beautiful brand, this beautiful podcast cover, and I've gotten so many compliments, and people tell me left and right how much they love it. And it feels fun to release something that is so validated and acknowledged, and go into a complete unknown territory of exploration. And I'm scared, but I'm also excited to see what happens in the space of the unknown. The sun is down, so I'm going to be wrapping up here. Okay, and please let me know what is resonating, what you're hearing for yourself in comments. One of the things I'm being with is releasing the need to have a certain amount of views or comments. And this is why I'm creating this video prior to this new idea that my mentor, Michelle Ksenia, introduced to me, of really releasing what happens on the outside once I've put something out, and connecting to being present here in the moment in my heart, and being the vessel, the channel for what wants to be expressed through me. Prior to that invitation, I was just deciding what to put out or not to put out based on the feedback I was getting. And now I just know this is meant to be out. This is meant to be out, and this is why I'm recording it. And it makes me feel alive, and it will make those meant to come in touch with it feel alive, and it will find exactly the right people at the exactly right moment. And this is how it works when we all step in our true nature and we trust what's meant to be moment by moment. So what am I letting go of? I'm letting go of control, of having to know, of validation, of fancy external blah, blah, blah recognition, ending up in a certain publication, having this amount of downloads or whatever, done in the fire, in this beautiful pink sky right there. If you're watching this on YouTube. Choosing what to give energy to based on money, I'm releasing of that. I'm going to choose what to do based on what feels alive, what speaks to me, what my soul is aligned with, and what's meant to be. Sometimes it won't be the most comfortable thing. Sometimes it will be the most uncomfortable thing, but I will know it's in the highest good. And I will know by checking in with my soul, and not with my bank account, not with my social media followers, none of that. I'm letting go of making it happen, so that I can allow Source to orchestrate it way better than I could have ever planned. I am letting go of shame, guilt, and shoulds, and creating anything from those places. Letting go of the fear of being behind and having not done something on time, because everything that I've done up until this point has been divinely orchestrated, and it always is for you and for me, for all of us, in the exact perfect symphony. And the sooner we come at peace with that, the more space we create to create from the present, with access to the divine pantry of everything. I'm letting go of trying to please, justify, and getting anyone to get anything about me or about the world, or getting anyone to do anything. That's not my job. That's inner work. My only job is to be the frequency of me. And when we all are the frequency of our unique souls, we remember who we are, which is really one source. Even if that means different expressions, different opinions, different values, different beliefs. As long as we all vibrate at the truth of who we are, anything is possible, really. All right, so what am I ready to embody? Let's change position. Energetically, let's change things up, okay? There's tracks everywhere that look like bear tracks. It would be fun to get eaten by a bear. Wow. I am ready to embody sovereignty, peace. I am ready to create from a place of joy and play. I trust. I allow myself to be. And whenever in doubt, I allow myself to give more than I think I can or should. I'm here to be excellent in my thoughts. Funny example of that was revealed to me on a journey. I had this, I used to use Rent the Runway a lot, where you rent clothing, and I was avid. I was always just renting, returning, and somehow I ended up getting 2 extra items, and they weren't tracked in my account. And I thought, all right, maybe Source provided it for me. I'm going to keep them. And then I wore the jeans for a while, and I never really wore it. It was like this purple faux fur thing, and I just was saving it in our tiny house when we don't really have the space for things that are just for later. I was saving it for a moment in time where maybe I'll go to Burning Man. And I was just very clearly told, pack those things up and return them, because what's the point of holding on to something that we're not even using? That's one side of it. And the other side of it is the part of me that thought it's okay to keep it because they won't know. Well, I know, and Source knows, and that's all that matters. And I've been invited into, scary, but I've been invited into a clean relationship between me and Source. Being clean in my thoughts and intentions, and making decisions from the soul instead of the fear of not having something when I need it, That idea of just holding on to like past accomplishments or things for the future really robs the present moment of all the miracles that it encapsulates and has available to us. I am also committing to being okay with not being an energetic match to some people and things and situations. And I want to increase my capacity to notice when I don't like something, when I'm triggered by something, when someone has a totally different truth than me. Notice it, say thank you, see if there's anything for me to learn, and knowing that I don't have to go into fight or anti-energy, and I don't have to be right. I can just note to myself, all right, this is not my flavor, this is not my frequency, and move back into my center, because that's the only thing we're in control of. If we try to control others, then good luck. It's not a fun life. On my platforms, I guess this is the point where I say what the names are. And it's not really a brand. It's not like, whoa, here we go. I hired this branding agency and we created this whole logo and brand. It's me. It's my name. It's the Ksenia Brief podcast. It's Ksenia Brief on Instagram. It's Ksenia Brief on YouTube. And really across everywhere. I feel so expansive. I took such a deep breath into my heart as I said that, because that's what my being has been wanting all along. And I've shown pieces of that, and a lot of you have felt them from time to time. And now it's just me. And I really think that's the new era, where we don't have to have like the perfect marketing strategy or the perfect brand, but we're being our true selves and walking our truth in each moment is how we create our reality. And as always, I am committed to noticing abundance in all forms, noticing when it comes in the form of a flower or a beautiful conversation, or especially frothy and rainbowy cup of cacao. Yeah. And I'm also committing to speaking with you and from my heart, and not at you, because that's really so old and stinky. Content-wise, on YouTube, I've been filming some vlogs. Some vlogs are coming as if you're a little birdie on my shoulder, and I'm just sharing things as we go, like as if you were a friend visiting me for a weekend, and I'm just walking you through different things that I love and that make me feel alive. Sometimes things that trigger me and are portals into awakening, because that's how we grow. Gosh, mosquitoes, damn it. Rituals, as always, ceremonial cacao, whatever other rituals feel alive in the moment. I'm telling you, I keep hearing animals. This would be a really fun time to die. At least someone would watch my vlog and be like, What else? The podcast, it's moving from funded by Source. It's going to be in the same place. So if you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, same thing. I'm just changing the name to the Ksenia Brief podcast, I think. We'll see. I'm still calibrating. There's some fears coming up. I'm working with them. Fears of being seen, being burnt at the stake for who I am. But, one step at a time, one moment at a time. In terms of content, I don't know. Source will guide step by step. I believe it's going to be similar conversations about entrepreneurship and creativity and rituals, and just without the emphasis of, okay, but how do you make money? And without the emphasis of having to check any boxes. I really just want to witness others speaking their truth, living their truth, and share those various roadmaps with you, because I really believe that when we are in the presence of people living their truth, it's a breadcrumb that allows us to remember our own truth. So may you remember the truth of who you are. May you have the courage to share it, because there's no time not to. And thank you for everyone who has inspired me to do this video. There's many whom I follow who are such beautiful, sovereign beings, speaking their truth so courageously. So this is where I start. The new moon is there. It's tiny, you probably can't even see it, but it's there. And I'm just very excited to share this new space with you. You know, some of the web addresses are the same. Some of the Instagram handles are the same, but it's a whole new frequency. It feels like a new earth. And one of the other things I wanted to mention is that I've been really craving consolidation of all my different Instagram accounts, because I have Ksenia.brief, At Home with Ksenia, Tiny Cabin New York, funded by Source. Those are my main ones, and I feel like I've been fragmenting myself not to show the fullness of who I am. And also out of fear of, you know, if people don't like me there, I can always go there and escape. So I'm no longer here to do things out of escaping discomfort. I can only be the truth of who I am, and I am what I am. And so the intention now is to move most things to Ksenia.brief. That will be my main account. Be on the lookout. I might be calibrating some things. The podcast will probably be still the same page, funded by Source, just renamed into Ksenia Brief Podcast. If you have other ideas of what to name a podcast page to make it a little more fun and interesting, maybe it's like a secret page, I don't know. Let me know. I'm very open to suggestions, really. And I think that's it. And now that this new container is being weaved, I've been tuning into who some of my dream guests are, and some of them have not changed, like Paul Stamets. I'm actually in communication with his team. I think it's going to happen. And also, now that the conversation is bigger, it's going to be movie directors. There's a couple of movie directors I've been really wanting to have a conversation with and follow their creative process, because creativity and art is really the ultimate language of Source. So I'm stoked. I'm really, really, really grateful to have you here on the journey with me. I don't know exactly at all actually what's going to unfold. I just know that this feels alive, and following my aliveness is the only thing I can do as a human, because in the Source realm, in the everything/nothing, everything is possible, and it can be really overwhelming because there's not, well, no, I guess there are instructions when we really listen, but everything exists at once, and we often get to choose what we get to put into the world through the portal of our heart. It's this circular being, creation, through our heart and out. You know, and whatever we put out, we receive back, and vice versa. So what will you put out into the world today? Much love. Leave a comment on my Instagram, Ksenia.brief. I would love to hear from you and see what resonates and what truth you have been hiding and are ready to speak now. Or maybe you don't know what it is exactly, but just the mere fact that you know you're done hiding it and you're ready to speak it. I would love to witness you and hold you in the loving container of this vast nature, Mama Gaia, that's holding us all.